His story is told of a new prime minister of a country who, while addressing a group of journalists, harshly criticized his predecessor, who was a dictator known for committing many atrocities. And during his address, someone from the audience passed him a note that read, "What were you doing when the dictator committed all these atrocities? For you were in a position of influence even then." Furious, the prime minister demanded, "Who sent this note?" No one stood up. He asked again, "I will give you 1 minute for the person to stand up." But no one did. He waited a moment before responding. "I will tell you what I was doing. I was doing exactly what the writer of this note is doing. Exactly nothing. I was afraid I was afraid to stand up. I was afraid to be counted." Are we too afraid to be counted when standing up for Christ and his values? Do we remain silent in the face of injustice, fearing opposition, rejection, or discomfort? In today's gospel, Jesus speaks with passionate urgency. He expresses his desire to cast fire upon the earth. And fire has many characteristics. It warms, refines, purifies, and it also burns or consumes. In the Bible, fire symbolizes God's powerful presence, as seen in moments like Moses' encounter with the burning bush, the pillar of fire leading the Israelites in the desert, and the tongues of fire that descended on the apostles at Pentecost. And this fire transforms, purifies, and refines hearts, drawing people toward a life of change, a life change. And Jesus invites us to ask ourselves today, are we willing to set the world on fire for God? Or are we passionate about spreading God's love, mercy, and justice, even if it involves confronting evil or sin? The Mahabharata is one of the two major ancient Indian epics, and this epic is believed to have been composed around 400 BCE. In one of its chapters, it tells the story of the Kurukshetra, that's the name of the place, war. A great war was about to unfold on the battlefield between two factions of the same royal family, the Kauravas and the Pandavas. The Kauravas were determined to retain their power, while the Pandavas, who were denied of their rightful inheritance, fought for justice. And Arjuna, a brave and noble warrior from the Pandavas, suddenly found himself in deep moral conflict. As he looked across the battlefield, he saw his family, his cousins, uncles, mentors on the opposing side. And overcome with sorrow, he questioned how he could fight and kill those whom he loved. He decided to leave the battlefield, believing that winning the kingdom wasn't worth the cost of his loved ones' lives. At that moment, Krishna, his charioteer, and also a divine figure, speaks to him. He explains that this war isn't merely against family, but a struggle between good and evil. And Arjuna's duty was to fight for righteousness, even if it meant opposing those who were close to him. And Krishna reminded him that standing for what is right may require difficult and painful choices. Ultimately, the battle was not about personal ties, but defending truth and justice. And this story from the Mahabharata teaches us that sometimes doing what is right means putting aside personal attachments and standing for justice, even against those we love. And are we willing to stand for truth, justice, and the values of Christ? Or will we remain silent and complicit, like the Prime Minister in the story, afraid to be counted. The choice is ours, to set the world on fire with God's love and justice, or to stand by and do nothing in the face of evil. Amen.